Hello there, and welcome to season three of the interview. This is Seth, and I'm so delighted to start season three of the interview. In case you are joining us for the first time and you haven't checked out all the previous interviews in season one and season two, I will encourage you to go to our YouTube channel and check out a lot of videos. There are a lot of interviews. And season three promises to be very, very interesting and exciting as I will be introducing my guest today. You will soon find out that we're going to have a very wonderful conversation. So without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce my guest today. Today, I'm so delighted to have Dr. Stephen Akintayo, who is a serial entrepreneur. He is Africa's most sought after investment coach. He is a business magnate, an author of 35 books. He is a real estate developer, keynote speaker, philanthropist, and the CEO of GTEX Global, which is a parent company with over 20 subsidiaries in different parts of the world, including the United States, United Arab Emirates, and of course, Nigeria. Dr. Akintayo guides and teaches people on how to invest and make money through real estate, consulting, agriculture, e-commerce, and telecommunication. Having come from a humble background, about 13 years ago, Dr. Akintayo made a decision that will later alter not only his life, but also the lives of thousands of people all over the world that he has been privileged to influence. I'm so delighted to have you join me today, Dr. Akintayo.
Thank you, sir. I was already getting apprehensive that I hope you won't read all the profile, else we will not have this interview.
I'm so delighted to have you. You've been doing a great, wonderful, wonderful work, and we are so delighted. Some of us that follow you have been enriched, have been blessed so much by all your strides, great strides, and we're so delighted to have you today. So I want to start us off today by talking about your background. I know that if anyone that follows you knows that it is something you came from a very humble background, but it is something that you have never shied away from talking about. You love to talk about your upbringing and the surrounding situation. You were born and raised in a humble background in Northwest Nigeria, specifically Maiduguri. And in 2008, you made a decision that changed your life. Kindly take us back to that journey, if you may.
Thank you so much, and really a privilege to be here. You're doing a great job. I've seen amazing conversations that you've had and amazing guests that you've hosted. Amazing. I think we need to have more of this conversation. So for me was my background was something that is the reason why I'm where I am today. I was born in Maiduguri. I learned how to spell the word TH in JSS1. And my education was really not that strong one. But for me was that my mother was a civil servant. My father's business had collapsed before I was born. We were always having money problems. Whenever I'm to go to school, my mom will go to our neighbors and knock their door. And some of them were junior, at work in the civil service. She too was a junior star at some point. But because she had 5 children and, they all have to go to school, she wants to borrow money to send us to school. When I receive salary, I'll pay back. You could see the way they are looking at her. There was just so much around it. So I knew something was wrong with that background. So I remember as a teenager, I read my first money book, which was Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And that changed my life, completely. By the time I entered university also, I realized one of my mentors who had gone to, a federal university was, had a good degree, because my mom used to tell us we are poor because she didn't have a university degree. And that was why. That if we have a degree, we go to school, we'll get a good job, and our life are going to be great. So I had that ambition for my mother's sake, only to meet one of my, secondary school teachers, first class. I met him in Lagos when I just entered university. One room with 8 of his siblings in one room apartment. Right? He
Hmm.
couldn't even give me anything to go back to school.
Hmm.
At that point, I also realized that education alone does not bring you out of poverty.
That's
So
true.
I vowed that by the time I graduate from the university, I will have learned a lot about business that if I don't get a job, I'm going to create one.
Hmm.
And so for me, those were the beginning of that journey. And so 2008, started a bulk SMS company with 1,000 naira. And 13 years later, we're going to be a multi-billion naira real estate company. And we just started, you
Hmm.
know.
Wow. What a very powerful and moving testimony about that. What do you think keeps many people in poverty, especially looking at the Nigerian context and Africa in general?
Well, I think there are a lot of spiritual, let me not say spiritual, religious
Hmm.
factors. There are cultural factors also that leads to this. I mean, I'm from, my parents are Yoruba, and in the Yoruba land, you see them say, Kadara, Orilo Mo. And I always humorously say, that means that destiny. And what people fail to realize is that habits determine decision, decision determine destiny.
Hmm.
God did not create anybody to fail. God did not create anybody to come suffer. If you're a Christian, you know the manifesto in the Bible. Let us make man in our image. He never said, let us make man to suffer. He even
Hmm.
clearly stated it. Let man dominate the earth, replenish the earth. So when you look at the manifesto or the manual from the manufacturer, the intention was that man do well. But we twisted all these things with cultural reasons, religious reasons, and today you even see how some people glorify being poor, like it's something to be happy about. Sometimes like, and you see, anything you don't resist has the right to remain.
Hmm.
If you think it's okay to be poor, then that's fine. I mean, that will remain. But when you make up your mind, say no, no, it's not right. And for me, I lost my mother, in this country to ovarian cancer. And I couldn't understand how my mother was a civil servant, meaning she served Nigeria for 30 years. Now, she started having issues where her tummy was, protruding. I was going to teaching hospital for 6 months till her tummy was like a nine-month pregnant old woman. And they did not diagnose what was wrong with her. We took her to a private clinic. In 5 days, they said it was ovarian cancer, but it has spread and she died. Now,
Hmm.
I tell people, I said, the biggest crime you have in this country is that you are poor. It's not a crime in this country that you steal, and we've seen that with our politicians. It's not even a crime in this country that you're a murderer. Some people murder and still get away with it. But that you are poor, you are in trouble. We've
Hmm.
seen some of us have lost dear ones. So when I talk about this subject of wealth creation, I speak with passion as somebody who has lost dear ones as a result of, you could maybe, I mean, my mother could have still died, but maybe she would have lived longer if I had had money to send her to where she could get better health care
Hmm.
and not wait for 6 months till the thing has spread. So for me, the challenges we face in Africa is really that of poverty. And until we fight poverty, even the insecurity we're complaining about will not go away.
Hmm.
Corruption will not go away, until we fight poverty.
Hmm. And just a follow-up question to that, will you say that poverty has more to do with your mental perception than it has to do with what you have or don't have?
Absolutely. I mean, you got it right. It's very much about the mental part, really. I mean, look at why will I, a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, steal?
Hmm.
Why? I mean, that status alone. I mean, you don't in developed clime, it's like a prestige. I am privileged to serve our nation. A
Mhm.
man left being the CEO of ExxonMobil, multi-billion dollar corporation, just to be a Secretary of State. It's a privilege, it's a honor. But because our mind is poor,
Hmm.
so I become a minister, I steal public money. I become a governor, all I'm thinking is what to keep for me and my children, right? And at the end of the day, I mean, we see what goes on now. At the end of the day, I leave power after 4 years or 8 years, and I'm now a victim of the same process.
Hmm.
The same process. You see how, go, I mean, my brother, obviously, is the mind. We have poverties of the mind. Let me not get started.
Please go ahead. We need to hear that. We need to hear
Yeah,
that. Because
poverty is of the mind, really, because when you see what is going on with our politicians, is because they may have, and I tell people it's not about what's in your account, because your wealth is in your mind. Now, I tell, how do you know you are financially free? You can have a zero balance, right? And you can
Mhm.
set up something in 7 days, and your account is full. That's when you know you are financial freedom is not what's in your account. Financial
Hmm.
freedom is having something in your mind that can constantly generate revenue.
Hmm.
I think it was Henry Ford that said something about the fact that if you take all his wealth away, just give him time, he will reproduce it.
That's
Because
right.
all that he used to get to where he is here. Is here.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
because all that our politicians use to get to where they are, right, it's not from here. It wasn't because they were better. It wasn't because they're intellectually sound. It wasn't because, I mean, how, my brother, how can you use, I look at the way Nigeria runs, right?
Mhm.
How can you vote somebody who has not succeeded in his private enterprise
Hmm.
to come and lead a public venture? It doesn't work. You can't give what you don't have.
Hmm.
A man, will fail in his family, then you say you should come and lead a nation. A man will not be able to, turn 1,000, okay, to 100,000. Now you say you should turn our collective 5 billion. That is not enough, to what?
Hmm.
So it's about the mind. And until we begin to celebrate the mind, somebody insulted us. He said, if you want to hide a thing from a black man, put it in a book. Right? In
Hmm.
other words, we do not invest in our minds. We do not invest in breeding. We do not invest in research. Do you know an average Nigerian only learn the real core things he need to learn about a business after he has failed in that business?
Hmm. Hmm.
Right? Other smart entrepreneurs, they don't do that. They first go and learn about the business, and they will pay to learn about the business, then come back. I mean, look at one of the things I started doing. I said to myself, in US, before Donald Trump became president, he has a real estate coaching program, costs $100,000. Go check an average billionaire in America. He has a coaching program. He has a mentorship program. He charged for it, by the way. Funny enough, he charged. Unlike in Nigeria, where they think that billionaires are supposed to make everything free, it will charge. But what you see is that the reason why people are saying it should be free is because we're not even valuing it. Nobody doesn't want to pay for something he values. Do you see the problem? Now,
Mhm.
how many of your billionaires in Nigeria has written a book? How many? How many?
I can't even think of one.
Uh, so you see where the
apart
problem
from apart from you.
and I'm small boy compared to these guys, right? So how many of and that's why the poverty continues, because we're now not sharing. How did I get here? What did I do? Right? What are the principles? What are the guidelines? What are things to avoid when you're trying to grow your business? When you're trying to scale your business, what do you do? We're not teaching these things, and we're complaining there's no job. We're complaining businesses are dying. We are not teaching. Our billionaires are. That's why I started our investment charts in a Rolls Royce, and I'm hoping that in season 3, because we shot season 2, in Dubai. I mean, it was amazing how there was no CEO I sent invitation to an entrepreneur that didn't show up,
Hmm.
right? In Nigeria, it will become a long story. But in season 3, we want to get all of them. Otedola or Dangote, they should come and talk. How did you get here? People want to know. And
That's
you don't
true.
know how much you inspire a lot of young generation of people. Because when we carry placard now, you say we burn down the nation. So what do we do? You are not teaching us what to do. The day we protest again, you say NSAS, they don't burn down Nigeria. Come on, show us what to do.
Mhm, mhm.
I can go on, but let me stop there.
And talking about, you just mentioned this issue of, asking people how did you get there? And talking about that, I want to just ask you specifically, in your journey, of course, you have shared severally. By the way, Dr. Akintayo has a YouTube channel that has a lot of free content that you can take advantage of. I will encourage you to do that. Just check out Stephen Akintayo TV on
Yeah.
YouTube, and you will benefit from a lot of content there. And you have always shared about your journey. I just want to ask this question. I know your journey was not all smooth, just like most millionaires and billionaires like you. When they start, if I should allow you to tell us the story, we'll take the next couple of hours. I believe you may not finish that, but just help us understand. Of course, you encountered a lot of hurdles. How were you
Yeah.
able to navigate through some of those hurdles to get to where you are right now?
Well, for me, I had no choice. I mean, somebody said that if you're at the floor, there's nowhere else to go but up,
Hmm.
right? So in my own case, it was a case that I didn't have a choice. My mother was, I mean, the death of my mother opened me up totally, right? Because I was relying on, because my mother was my major cheerleader. So on campus, I would start this business. There was no business I didn't do on campus. I did trade fair. I sold books. I hawk electronics. I did popcorn. And I remember I would do those businesses. I would still make losses. I'll come back to my mother. The little, she was always the cheerleader. So I had always relied that maybe when I graduate from school, my mother would probably take a loan and help set me up or something, because I've always been that, much of that. But now my mother was dead.
Hmm.
So again, there was even my friend. I remember I was cutting with them. The mother had to tell her son to tell me to leave, that they
Hmm.
can't afford me leaving their house.
Hmm.
That they don't have enough to be taking care of me. I said I will soon get a job. I will also be contributing. He said I should leave. So I had no choice.
So
So
you
that
had no choice.
yeah,
That's
yeah, there
just
was just there was there
wow.
was it was I wish I can, give you all this, yeah, I've always known. I had no choice. It was a case of there was no option but to go up. There was no
Hmm.
option. So and I think that helped, because I see sometimes that the challenge some of our youths have is that we are not desperate enough. We're not willing to do, and I'm not saying desperate to do wrong things, but desperate. So unfortunately, some of us now convert that to crime and all of that. But I'm the guy that I remember one day I pasted posters from some of our audience may not know. But if you know Lagos very well, you know Songota is the boundary between Ogun State and Lagos State. I pasted because we were living. That was the only house my mother had before she died. So I pasted poster from that Songo down to Ikeja along, and then back. So this way I'll be pasting on the road. I used to sell bulk SMS then. So buy bulk SMS 70 kobo, per unit, and then
And this was, so sorry to interject, just to get the
yeah.
context. This was after your graduation from
Of course,
university.
yeah. I mean, I
Hmm.
was a grad. This was even as recent as 2012. You
Wow.
know, I will post and then straight down, then coming back. So that day I started by as at 10 a.m. because I had to stop every bus stop.
Hmm.
True story. I rounded up. By the time I got back, it was 12:30 a.m. I will never forget. It was Molue. I was coming down from the Molue, and tears were rolling down my eyes without trying to cry. I don't know whether you've expressed, like, it wasn't like you wanted to cry, but your
I know. I know what you mean.
your
Yeah.
body just pitied you. You say you're a graduate, you don't suffer. And I remember, the Holy Spirit said to me, "Why are you crying? One day you're going to tell people this story, they will say it's a lie." So then I
That's
meet
true.
people, they will say, "Oh, did you school in this part of the world?" I was like, "Where did you think my first degree was here now?" It was later I started doing, courses outside Nigeria. Yeah, I was all here. But it happened. And
Hmm.
but the reality is, I really want to encourage, and that's why I keep sharing my story, because I know many people are where I was then and feeling like giving up. Nigeria is not working, Nigeria is messed up, Nigeria is, and I agree with you. I just returned to the country about a week ago. And the same thing people keep asking me. I remember my last golf session with my partner in Dubai. He was just telling me, say, I have so X property. I'm selling. I don't even want to hear Nigeria. I don't want to, like, I don't. I said, what are you? If I have to, like, look at me again, what are you going to do there?
Hmm. Hmm.
And I tell people, I say, look, the truth is, if there is no darkness, there's no point for light.
Hmm.
Darkness, I mean, light shines better in darkness.
Hmm.
So my advice to the youth, we have more work because we are relevant because of these challenges. We have, I mean, look at what's happening in the tech sector with young Nigerians. They just bought Paystack, $200 million. I mean, because adversity is the food of champions.
Yes.
The lion, the giant in you comes alive in the midst of adversity.
That's true.
I mean, our real estate company did almost five, if not more than 500% growth in 2020, in the midst of the pandemic. Why? Because people used to give, I want to come to Nigeria to see your property. And we were ahead. We're always doing Facebook Live. We show the estate. This is the land we're selling. Come and buy. During the pandemic, everybody concluded they couldn't come, travel. Right? So who has been showing them their property all this while? And many had a lot of resources. People were able to save what they would have used for parties, for things that. So people had, and they knew that their currency were being devalued. So people wanted to put their money somewhere, and we grew. But these things again prove that the giant in you, the opportunities comes in during the challenges. So Nigeria has 200 million people, a lot of challenges. This is why we're here. We're born for such a time as this.
Hmm.
We are born for such a time as this. We have all it takes. We just need the critical mass. And if anything happened to Nigerian youth, it was NSAS. What had been happening, and I'm happy for NSAS, because what I realized, there was a state of powerlessness by Nigerians, youth now.
Hmm.
However, during the period of NSAS, Nigerian youth realized that there was some power. My prayer is that that is channeled in 2023.
Hmm.
Right?
Hmm.
Now, I'm not a politician and I'm not vying for any political position in 2023, but I want to push and encourage our youth, because I'm already doing something. And that's why I don't need to do politics to change Nigeria, right? But a lot of other young people are interested in that. And my argument is, please do. Now, even if you will not, contest, this is the time to know you have power. Vote the right person. Don't vote based on religion. Don't vote based on tribal sentiments. Vote for people who can show me that in their private enterprise, they've made it. Remember the story of David and Goliath. When Saul was asking David, right, why do you want me to allow you face this guy? You're a young man. You want to kill yourself. He said, no, but I've killed the bear. I've killed the lion,
Hmm.
right, with my bow, with my hands. Now, the truth is this. it's time for us to start voting people who can tell us the lion and the bear they have killed before they want to kill the demons in the state, the demons in the local government, the demons in House of Rep, the demons in Senate, and of course the presidency. Show us what you've done before. And I also want to challenge the business community. Entrepreneurs are always afraid in this part of the world. If I talk, they will come after my business. I mean, we all don't have a business if we continue this way. We don't. We don't have a business. So I also want to encourage entrepreneurs, come out. I remember a training. I will never forget this story. It was a former, one of those former minister for communication, right? This man has no tech background whatsoever. And then I came, on my team with a German friend. And we sat down. And of course, the man took time, started blowing grammar. After the session, my German friend said, Nigeria. A nation where the smartest are sitting down listening to the dumbest.
Which is an irony.
It's an irony. Because the man called all the tech giants, all the CEO of all the big tech companies. And you could see blunder in what he was saying. Because he didn't have any tech background. He had a legal background. And, you could see. So he just was, you guys, now they try. And we all sat down there, all the tech guys, we were looking. Because my background was tech, we started with digital marketing. And we're looking, this is His Excellency, the Minister for Communication. That is our country. And if nobody will talk because it's His Excellency. Until that change, you don't need to go into politics, but you need to speak up. You need to say, hey, they will come after you. That's okay. I mean, all die and I die.
That's right. That's right. I want to piggyback on something you said earlier about handling adversity. That adversity actually produces brings out the giant in us. I want you to talk a little bit about people's attitude towards suffering and adversity and pain. Usually, when people are going through sufferings and pains and adversity, the mentality is that something is wrong with me, or that there is just something around you. You begin to talk about all these cultural and religious ideas and what have you. How can people actually convert their adversity? How can people convert their adversity to their advantage?
Thank you. That's a really fantastic question. I think the first thing is to understand that we exist because of the adversity. Like I was sharing earlier about that scripture, about how God made man and the mandate He gave man, right? It was that we had a responsibility, which was we were to dominate, we were to replenish, we were to subdue. Now, we will not have that mandate if there was no problem. Yeah, God created the earth. Yeah, it was beautiful, but that there was still more to be done and give you an responsibility. So the we need to understand when we're going through tough time is that was why we were born, and that's the assignment. And that it's just like food is never sweet when you are not hungry. I don't know if you've had that experience. Like when you are most hungry, like you fasted, the food just tastes. There's a way it tastes. So success is sweet when you've gone through troubles, when you've gone through adversity, when you've gone through challenges. It makes you stronger. It makes you bolder. Then it makes you enjoy it because now you know you worked hard for this. You know you worked hard. A lot of times, sometimes people accuse me on social media of, in their mind, I'm flaunting. And I said, when I was flaunting my poverty, you didn't complain, did you?
That's the irony, because when you are poor, nobody complains that you are poor.
Yeah, nobody. Nobody. Trekking in Lagos, struggling, sleeping in my office because I didn't have 200 naira to take Molue back to my house. You didn't complain. So now that I'm trying to enjoy my life, they lead to you mind. You think in your own mind. But those are the realities. It's sweet now, right? Because I worked hard, I suffered for it. So when we're
Yeah.
going through tough time, we should know that tough time don't last, tough people do. When we're going through tough times, we should know and understand that that is the best time because it's darkest before dawn. And that culture is still my culture today. When things are working for me, I'm a bit skeptical. I'm preparing myself for the next crisis.
Hmm.
Once I enter the crisis, I'm most excited. Why? Because I know the next day after crisis is good things now.
Mhm.
So I think that people should understand that when you are going through those challenges, you should be excited because the real next thing is something good. Just the same way when you asked me that question earlier, I was on the floor. There is no, I can't go. The next place to go is up. When you hit the bottom, there's no more place to go than to move up.
Hmm.
And so don't be discouraged. And I want to, again, I keep encouraging Nigerians need to know. I said something powerful about the crisis going on with these herdsmen kidnapping and all of that, particularly the cultural dimension to it. I said Nigeria is about to be born. And
Hmm.
some people were like, your head no correct, waiting to be born there. What? And I was smiling. I said, because again, many of us don't study history, right? If you study the America, we're all shouting, it's over 200 years democracy. But go study the challenges. Different people wanted to pull apart. Even the last election, you see, saw Texas. And Texas has always been playing one unique role. They're always like, when everybody said we're done with slaves, Texas was still the one still saying no. Right? So America wasn't born perfect. But in the midst of the challenges, everybody started respecting themselves. Everybody started realizing that we can't do without the other people, the other party. Everybody started realizing, and over time, America emerged not better, not greatest, but better. And I see Nigeria get better. I know not everybody agree with me, but we will because it's just a phase.
Hmm.
It's a 60-year compulsory marriage that is just evolving.
Hmm.
And we'll get better. I still believe in this nation. My biggest investment is still in Nigeria, and we'll get it right.
Amen. Amen. And talking about investment, I want us to talk a little bit about investment. You are Africa's most sought after investment coach. What are some of the investment opportunities that people with little or average income can take advantage of, especially in Africa?
So the first, I remember doing a training earlier today. I'm writing a new book called The Billionaire Habits. So the concept I used was, and I think you could do it because that's people always wonder how I've written so many books. So one of the strategies I use, my Facebook Live, okay, I strategically done in such a way that it can become a book.
Hmm.
So I've been running a series right now, the Billionaire Habits. And so my transcribers are just going to work on it. And then before you know, you have a new book by Stephen Akintayo.
Hmm.
And one of the things I shared today is how people become rich, right? Legitimately, of course. Number one is you at the beginning, you don't have money, you don't have capital. First thing you want to do is to start by helping to market products by credible people who have it.
Hmm.
Um, I started real estate today. People ask, so how did you get the money? I didn't start with money. I was marketing for other real estate companies. They were giving me 10% commission for every sale. So if I sell a land of 10 million, I get 1 million. And if my head is correct, I should save a good portion of that money. And
Hmm.
before you know, I started buying my own land. And then from one thing to the other, we are here. So I laugh a lot of time when people tell me, I don't have money. How do I start business? I say, hey, go and rob a bank. right? Because that question is very funny. There's no way that will work. So what you want to do is to say, what is it that I have? I don't have obviously have money to have a product, but somebody has a product, and his own challenge is marketing that product. Then there's social media, there's internet. You know, I can pick his product, agree that he gives me commission. Instead of us busybody from morning to night, I can be pushing my product. I sell real estate. I sell this. I sell clothes. I sell shoes. Right? I've
Mhm.
mentored people in e-commerce. One of my students has done 200 million naira this year in e-commerce.
Hmm.
Sorry, last year in e-commerce. She did 200 million. She sells
Wow.
phone accessories, in bulk. And one of the unique things about her is that it's prepaid. So most of all these big shop in Alab, Computer Village and all of that, they pay her, and then she brings in those phone gadgets, charger, casing, and all of that in bulk for them, and they sell,
Hmm.
right? But she started this business with next to nothing. So the first thing is you want to start by selling for those who have the product, since you don't have one,
Hmm.
right? And then you make commission, save it, and gradually you have capital to start producing your own product or service. Second thing you want to do is to have a mentor. So the earlier set of money that you're making is to use for mentorship. I one of the courses I'm starting this month, right? It's going to be running for the entire year. It's costing me 120,000 US dollars. It's for founders of big corporations, right? 120,000 USD. So if you now see our company explode again, particularly the international dimension, again in our part of the world is grace. Yes, there's grace, but there was something added.
Hmm.
Wisdom of those who have gone ahead.
Hmm. And,
Right.
and
So
I've heard and I've heard you say, sorry to interject, but I've heard you say in some of your coaching or teaching that you do. By the way, there are, just as I said earlier, he has a lot of Dr. Akintayo has a lot of content on Facebook and YouTube. In case you have not been following him, I will encourage you to take advantage of this free content that he gives almost every day, valuable content that some people will ask you to pay, but he just gives out most of these things for free. One of the things I have heard you say is never start a business without a mentor, right?
absolutely.
And you have always emphasized that strictly. Why why is that so important?
The reason is because mentors are ladders, mentors are feathers for flying, and mentors are top guide. Now, businesses go through three stages. There's the wilderness stage, that's the beginning. There's the growing stage. So wilderness stage usually from month 0 to the third year. There's growing stage. Growing stage, is from the third year or whenever to sometimes 13 years, 16 years. For that, many people didn't know. It took him 16 years,
Hmm.
which takes you to what we call the exponential. I call this when I do my analysis. The wilderness stage is 1 plus 1 equals to minus 20,
Hmm.
right? In other words, you are putting so much, nothing comes out. Now, the growing stage is 1 plus 1 equals to sometimes 2, sometimes 3, sometimes 2.5, sometimes 4. Exponential phase 1 plus 1 equals to 1,000. It does at that point, it doesn't go through. It's just, and if you study certain business, you realize everybody will do this. I studied the Dangote. It was at the 16 that you just hear Dangote's wealth that Forbes, even though he has actually because of Naira devaluation. The following year, just hear moved from 10 billion or 20. It's no longer the normal trajectory. It's almost sometimes double, as it were. Now that's the exponential phase. It takes years to get to those levels. But what happens is that when you now get a mentor, that wilderness phase is almost zero. Almost. Even if you're going to have it, it's probably 2-3 months because they tell you, don't do this one, don't do this one. I did this, I made that mistake. Avoid this one. It just cuts the journey. So the journey that should take you 16 years, in 6 years, you are having certain results, and everybody's like, how did you do it? It was the mentor. They helped you. They showed you certain pitfalls, right? For example, one of the biggest success of our company was that we never started any form of come and invest and get X until recently. Because we saw that it was a pitfall for many people. You've not mastered the business. You start asking people to bring their money into the business. Now some things happen, not to, of course, your fault. Their own money is burnt. Before you know, everybody call you 419. Everybody call you, stolen my money. Don't mind him. They are thief, barao. And in your heart of heart, your business just didn't go the way you wanted. So again, those are lessons you learned. So we made sure for many years, if we don't sell, we don't spend. It's the policy in our company. Anything we will spend, we must make it. So sales determine, our spending, right? The months we are not able to sustain, we start downsizing. It's as simple. It was the hardest model. Those who work with me will tell you it's hard. And that's why today, 13 years, I've never taken 1 naira from any bank. 1 kobo, right? So, but those things were mentorship because people tell you, avoid this one, no. Run from this one, and that just helped. So at some point, now that we know we have a name, we now run advert on CNN, we have shows on channels on, as season 2 is even on AIT. Everybody now, if you even say Steve Akintayo, his company stole your money, people will say, no, God, forget that one. Maybe you don't understand. So there must be mix up somewhere, right? But imagine we had done those kind of things at the beginning when nobody knows you, right? Any small thing anybody says is being taken. So, but these are things that I enjoyed because I prioritize hearing from people. In fact, there was a man who lost his entire brand, right, as a result of an investment program he ran. I had to go and meet him. What happened? And unfortunately, many of us don't prioritize this thing. The importance of people have failed. You want to go and hear them. I said to somebody, I said, if I will ever do politics in this country, all these people you call demon, I want to go and meet them. Baba, what happened? Baba, I want to just, what happened, right? Where did you miss it? And I want to beg my generation that we need to ask questions, right? And that's why I love your show. And I will appeal to you if you can get the likes of, Obasanjo, Tinubu, IBB. Let's ask questions. What happened? Because it's easy for us to sit down, right, and say, stupid people, devils, don't mind them, without understanding that. Because I'm not saying you will be like them, but you even want to know why they failed, right?
True.
You want to know so that you know the pitfalls, you know the things to avoid, and that's how to do. Now, so let me stop there.
Yeah, so basically, what the mentor does to you is that he saves you that wilderness experience because statistically, many people usually give up when they start a business. They give up within that wilderness experience
Yeah.
because when you start, you are just getting negative. You are giving in your best and everything, the hard work, and it's not yielding. It's not coming up, and you just it's very easy for people to conclude that this is not working and just give up. But when you have a mentor like you will help you avoid some of these pitfalls. That for me, I've never heard this categorization, and it makes a lot of sense, because usually we are a hasty generation. We want everything just now.
Indomie
If I start
generation.
yeah, if I start a business today, I give myself 3 months. If it's not yielding what I want, I abandon it and start another one, and the same cycle keeps repeating itself,
Yeah,
and that
exactly.
makes a lot of sense. How will you know if a business venture is worth investing in?
Wow, and powerful. Well, I think a couple of things is one, who are those who have done it and are successful at it?
Hmm,
How many of them can you even have access to mentor you? Because you need to know there are two ways to attract a mentor. It's either you pay them or you serve them. So,
hmm,
for example, I don't even do business because it makes sense. I do business because I'm able to find somebody to mentor me to help me in it, right? Because ultimately, I tell people, even if it's beans cake you are selling, if you really have a good mentor, you're going to go far. You probably will start the first beans cake eatery in the world, right? I mean, that's how, is it Colonel Sanders started KFC? It was chicken now, and see what it
hmm,
has turned to. So we can take things to the next level. But for me, is one, how many mentors, how many people have you seen that have made it? Somebody said if people are not doing certain things, probably because the time has not ripe, it's not yet the time, it's not the right time. There's a reason why others are not doing it. So do your math, do your research. Somebody say creation is over, innovation is what we are doing now. Uber is not a new invention.
hmm.
Uber is taxi business with a mobile app. Period.
That's true.
Right? E-commerce is not a new business. It's Alaba on the net.
Hmm,
That's all. Right? Amazon is Alaba on the internet. That's all. And I can go on and on and on like that. Many of what we now call is there's no creation, it's invention. You look for something people are already doing, you observe behavior, add a little on top. Just add something. Just mix things together. And then you come up with something fantastic. I mean, we are building a brand. We're building the largest green and smart homes in Africa. What did we do?
hmm,
We looked at it. There are green homes and there are smart homes. Let's combine the two, right? And let's be ahead of the curve. Africa is not talking about it yet. Nobody's talking renewable, green, climate friendly accommodation. Let us go ahead
hmm,
and let's start it. And before you know, we are gradually growing the name. Okay, people sell land. What do we do? No, we do serviced apartment. I mean, service plot. What does service plot mean? Instead of just buying land in Lube and then you start fighting with Omonile, with Kiniko, you come with police. No, leave that to us. We fence the land. Even if it's 50 years, you come back, your land is there.
hmm,
We do the light, we do the road, we do the electricity. It will take a while. It's not like we start the estate today and we do that. But we will do it,
hmm.
right? So we're selling serviced plot, not just a plot of land. So there's a distinction. So that's why 98% of our customers are in diaspora. A lot of people have been wondering why I not see your billboard. I said Nigerians cannot even afford most of what we sell. If the cheapest of our land is 2 million. Why? Because it's service plot. You're not just buying land, right? If anything happen on your land, leave it to us. It's our job.
Hmm,
It's our job, you know, to make sure that your property is protected. That's part of
hmm,
the service. So we're not selling land, we're selling the service of land.
hmm.
So that's
Wow.
the model that people need to look at when it comes to understanding what business we go for. Am I adding something to an existing consumer behavior?
Hmm,
Right? Now you know, no, this business is a good one to do. And you also need to also analyze the risk factor. There are high risk business, there are mid risk business, and there are low risk business. So at the beginning, you want to do low risk business, then later move to mid risk, and later to high risk. And at some point, you have the diversification.
Hmm.
So I have certain of our business that are low risk, some are mid risk, some are high risk. Same thing with investment. Again, there are difference between investment and business. Business, you put in your time and your money. Investment, you put in only your money.
Hmm.
So we always mix all this together also. So the same way in investment, there are low risk investment, there are mid risk investment, and there are high risk investment. Forex, cryptocurrency, high risk investment, right? Even if is a bishop that is in charge of such investment, understand it is high risk. You are likely to lose all your money. So put a little and also build what we call investment emotional intelligence. That I came up with that word and I'm developing that over time. Because a lot of people have not built emotional intelligence when it comes to investment. And yet they put in all their money. That's why you see cases of suicide. Right? That's why because again, usually what happened there, what most people committed suicide, what happened was that they went to take family members' money, friends' money, and put into a high risk business, and they lost everything. So the fear of what will I say?
Yeah.
All my loved ones, I put them into trouble. That's why you then see them commit suicide. So all these are dynamics that you look into. You also look at yourself. How much of pain can I endure if I lose all this money? Right? Will I be normal? Somebody said a story that in Nigerian politics, when you tell them you want to become a politician, they will um, invite you for a meeting to bring 500 million. I don't know how true this is. And then you bring your 500 million, they will do a bonfire and start throwing the money into the fire, bill by bill. If you can watch all that money burn, then you are ready. If you cannot, and your body is shaking like this, okay, you never ready.
You're not ready for Nigerian politics.
Yeah.
uh, that's that's a funny anecdote. Let me also, you're still talking about, investment. I have heard you severally say this on some of your teachings that never invest in something in a venture that you are not very familiar with. Why is that so important?
Very important because I mean you can't go farther than the quality of your knowledge, right?
Hmm.
In my village they said "Intayeba jeleyen before," meaning that it's what the birds eat that is used to fly. So your success is always a function of the depth of your knowledge.
Hmm.
Okay, your success is always a function of the depth of your knowledge. So you can't do great in a business you don't have idea on in-depth understanding, and that's why you scale your depth in a business with a mentor, because it can give you a 20-year crash course in 2 hours.
Hmm.
The mistakes, the pitfalls, everything that will down it to you. So you don't want to, because what then happened, and like I said, this is why Nigeria is also not working. There are times where many of us, honestly, I won't lie to us, I look at the politicians, and as much as I don't like some of what most of our politicians have done, but sometimes I can't but realize that we're all victim of each other. Even the politician is a victim of the Nigerian society. Because what has happened to Nigeria is a case of people actually learning on the job, politically also,
Hmm.
right? No mentorship. In America now, every American president has a former president as a mentor, whether dead or alive.
Hmm.
Even the policies are almost patterned after a former president.
That's
Do
true.
we have that here? Right? So there's no body of knowledge. There's no body of. So that's why we say don't do business when there is no knowledge. There's no, because you need to understand what you're doing. When we started real estate, third year, staff started complaining, we're not selling. I say, ladies and gentlemen, this is a long time game. I'm aware. that this is long term. Why? I have listened to those who have gone ahead. I've worked for some of them. I started some estate where the day the MD of the estate was taking me and my own client to the estate. If not that the MD and my brother started the company, I thought he was taking me for rituals. That's how far the land was. It was it was thick forest, and they say it's an estate. And the humorous thing, sir, today it's an estate. People live there. Everywhere developed. Third road. So if I didn't have that background, right? I mean, when our first estate, when they took us there, it was water. We were seeing water that can get to your chest. If I show you the picture of the place now, you won't believe it. Again, if I have not seen somebody do that venture, the day I see it, I say, hey, no, I'm seeing problem. Now, that's why they said opportunity come in work clothes. That's why it's never recognized. Yeah. So people say luck is opportunity meeting preparation. Why are people not saying opportunities? Because it comes in work clothes. It doesn't come like it's opportunity. When you see the real gold, yeah, it's the gold ore, except when it's refined. That's when it becomes beautiful. Right? You just probably think it's just one stone if you don't have understanding. Right? So those are dimensions to life. You need the knowledge, you need the experience, you need the understanding, and a mentor can give it to you.
That's so powerful. I've also heard try to talk about something that has been ravaging the Nigerian society, which is all these Ponzi schemes. People, because people lack patience, people lack all these get rich quick ventures, and people easily fall victims into these Ponzi schemes. Can you talk a little bit about that? How can someone, if I hear an advertisement about a venture that says bring 10,000, will multiply it in 2 weeks, what are some of the danger signals that people should watch out for?
Okay, thank you for that question. I hope I can answer it quickly because of the meeting I left for
Yes,
this.
that should be the last question.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
my advice on this is always that number one, anybody who tells you they're going to be giving returns every month is most likely not real, right? It's just, I mean, it's just most likely not real. Number two, also, I always say is that when returns are more than certain level, right? In Africa, yeah, you may be able to, you can still get up to 25% returns in a year in a reasonable investment. But once it's exceeding certain range, right, in a year, then it doesn't make sense. Because what you see with Ponzi scheme, they tell you that 15% in a year, in a month. If somebody will give you 15% returns in a month, that means that let's multiply that 15% times 12. So the question is, it means they must have made 500% returns in a year. What are they selling? Okay, right? So and, and so do not judge a good investment program by the fact that your friend got their money. That's not how you judge, because the concept of Ponzi is that as long as there are more people coming in than those who have joined before, people will continue to get their money. But a time comes where the thing flattens out, right? Where you have less people joining compared to those who are in the system. That's when the thing clash. So don't say, oh, my friend has been getting for 6 months. It may be on your own turn that the thing will crash. Okay? The thing will just
Yeah.
crash at that point. So understand, work on your grid level, learn some of this. For example, people say, but yeah, they are doing crypto and they are doing forex. What's the big deal in crypto? Learn it now. Learn it. That's why, I tell people, I said, what I do, I coach you how to do it for yourself. Learn it. You can be a passive trader. There are not apps. You are doing forex app. You just go to the app, use your card, you buy the thing, you keep it. So you don't need third party. At least that one, if you lose the money, you know there was no 419 there. I used my
Mm-hmm.
money, I put it here, which is why we should celebrate learning it, then executing it ourselves, rather than just dashing people money and then we are finding ourselves in trouble. However, if you are now going to do such, don't put all your money there. Divide your money into three: a portion into low risk, a portion into mid risk, a portion into high risk. Understand from day one, the high risk, it may be on your head, the thing will finish. If you are not lucky that you got something out of those high risk investment, pull it out. Pull it out. Everybody I have mentored in Forex or crypto, even as far back as 2017, 2018, we're always checking to say pull out. Don't be greedy. Don't say the thing will continue to grow. You know, it will never change. You put in your money, pull out. You know, that's how you do it. When I do investment, let's say I decide to say let's trade for currencies, right, which is called forex. Now we're putting it 50 million. What do we do? Every time we make 10 million, we pull it out. Then the next 10 million, we pull it out till we finally pull out the entire 50 million we had put in. Yeah,
Hmm.
we keep it one side. Then as we are making again, you are pulling. You make another 50 million. Profit, gidigba, 100%. Then try and say again. If you can make another 50 million, you keep pulling out. After that, you can gather another new fund. It could not be another 100 million. You put it again, same model. But what many of us do, we say we keep growing. Don't worry, it will never come down. There's nothing like that, right?
Hmm. Well, viewers, I want to take this time to thank Dr. Stephen Akintayo. It's been a wonderful time to talk with him. Just as I said, he has a lot of content. You can check his YouTube channel, Stephen Akintayo TV. There are more than 1,000 videos there that you can take advantage of where he talks about most of these things for free. All you need to do is to have an internet and your gadget, a phone or a laptop, and take advantage of this. And he does a lot of live broadcasts on his Facebook page. In case you have not been following him, I will encourage you to do that and take advantage of some of these free teachings. He is a living example. He is someone that started with nothing, and he is where he is today. He has literally built an empire. So he is someone that has been tested. So I will encourage you to take advantage of that. And I want to once again thank you so much, Dr. Akintayo, for making time to be part of this program.
Thank
I
you
really
for
appreciate
having
it.
me. I'm really grateful. It's an honor being here. Listening. Thank you for hosting me. God bless you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Until I come your way next time, uh, enjoy the rest of your week. Bye for now. And in case you haven't watched other videos or other interviews in the series, I will encourage you to check out our YouTube channel. It's called The Interview, where you will find all the interviews for seasons 1 and 2, and also the Facebook page here. Once again, bye for now.